The mission of Urban Peace is really to help save the lives of the next generation. People can change. It's not once a gang member, always a gang member.
Prevention, intervention, and violence interruption.
We're a nonprofit social justice organization. Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Fernando Rejon. Welcome back to Peace on Our Streets. This is a series exploring the work of peacemakers and efforts on the front lines to reduce and prevent community level violence. So today we're speaking with a gang intervention leader from LA. Her name is Tina Padilla. She is with Community Warriors for Peace. She is a longtime intervention leader. She has tons of experience, and she's also a national trainer with Urban Peace Institute. And a leader within the LA Violence Intervention Coalition. So we're happy to have her here, and hoping to get into a good conversation and learn more about the work, but also about Tina as a person. So Tina, we talked a little bit before this, but what made you get into the work of gang intervention? Why, it's risky, long hours, you can, give a lot and really get very little back. Why did you decide to pursue this field?
There was a changing point in my life when I really saw the need in my community. I grew up in a very, very gang-infested neighborhood, and I saw that there was not very many resources. Even for myself growing up, there was nothing to help me, give me positive hope to actually make it out of that neighborhood. I didn't want to be a statistic in that neighborhood. My grandfather, my father were both involved in some sort of, gangs. And I didn't see any other way to live my life but to do the same thing. But something somewhere changed my way of thinking. And I said, no, I'm tired of hurting my community. I want to heal my community. And so it was that point in my life when I said, you know what, I'm going to give back to the same community I took from and help those that don't have hope, that maybe the generational thing of being in a gang is something so prevalent in that community. So I said, you know what, it has to be somebody to start the movement. It has to be somebody to want the change. Why not me? I don't know why, to be honest, that it was me, but I had such a strong passion for it. And every day I saw how much the community needed. And every day when it would just start with something small, and then it got to something bigger, and then something bigger, and then the word spreads and people are like, oh, talk to Tina, she'll help you. She knows everything. She'll help you with anything. And then it just spread like wildfire. So to me, I saw no other choice but to be the healer of my community.
Nice, thank you, Tina. What can you explain a little bit for those that don't know what is gang intervention, and what would you say are the prerequisites to being an effective gang intervention worker?
Well, we can hold many degrees, right? Hold many degrees. You can go to school and get a degree. I mean, school has taught us when you're in kindergarten, you get a certificate. When you go to 8th grade, you get a certificate. High school, so forth. College, so forth. But you know what I have on my walls? I have street degrees. What does that consist of? That consists of pictures of me helping community members. Those are my degrees, right? So intervention to me is in what it looks like in my community is making sure that I have experienced some of the things that the community is going through. Having to know what the community needs, having to know what hurt the community and be able to relate to that, being able to provide a resource to heal that same hurt that they have. So to me, intervention means that I'm going in and my reputation will speak for itself. So for instance, grew up in the neighborhood, like I said, my father, my grandfather were involved in stuff like that. That was one reputation, and that wasn't a positive reputation. But then I had to earn the positivity in that reputation by just standing by my word, delivering what I said I was going to do, and follow through. That's the biggest thing. It's just having that LTO, that license to operate in my community. My community trusts me. My community comes to me. My community turns to me in their time of need.
Well, thank you for that. What, so specifically for gang intervention worker, like, what do you do? What type of issues do you deal with? You're on mute.
Well, nowadays it's a lot different than it was 3 years ago. Intervention 3 years ago was helping to break cycles in generational lifestyles, helping to just show them that there's different alternatives than just gang banging, shooting, tagging, drugs, right? But then now you're in this day and age with COVID. There are so many things that are coming up, so many things that are triggering people. People are now, they were having to lock down, be inside the house, not come out. And now that they are able to come out, it's like everybody's on a free for all. So things are definitely different. Now we're dealing with mental illness. We're dealing with a high rate of suicide. We're dealing with a lot of intervention. A lot of people that we work with are homeless. So we're dealing with that. So gang intervention at this day in 2021 is totally different than it was in 2019 pre-pandemic. Way different, but the focus is the same. It's going in, helping to put those positivities in their mindset, and just letting them know that we're there for them. We know what they're going through, and we can be like that change for them.
Well, that's important work. And I think that's an important point. Like intervention 2019 versus 2021, it's different. The issues got broader, right? And intervention has really filled a lot of the gaps in public health services as well, because you're able to reach the quote unquote hard to reach populations, right? That many times suffer the brunt of gun violence as well as the infections, right? Pandemic infections. So thank you for that. What would you say is the most challenging aspect of your work as an intervention worker?
Right now, the most challenging aspect is that we're going through is the surge in violence that's happening right now. And the thing is that people sometimes they misconstrue that, and they say the surge of violence has to do with, gang association, and that's not true. That is not true right now. It's just a lot of different factors that are factoring into that. But I think the hardest part of our job at this point is just being able to reach the community in a safe manner, being able to go in the community and find, you know, the gang members, or maybe not just gang members, but just being able to find the at-risk community. Because like I said, they're being displaced, they're homeless, and then we're having to put on yet another hat, and we're having to go in and become like homeless service outreach workers when we're having to be trained on that. So a lot of the people that we're servicing are out in the riverbeds, they're out in the parks. So I think and they're suffering a lot from mental illness. So it's so rapid right now. It's so hard to reach them because they could be here one day and then the next day we don't see them for 2-3 days and they've moved on to somewhere else. So that's the hardest part, is being able to reach them.
Well said, thank you. What would you say is the most rewarding aspect of this work for you?
For me, I kind of take it on like everybody. There's a little saying that they have here in the office. I'm either Mama Tina or Tia Tina. So I'm either the mama or the Tia, and that's the thing. So the most rewarding thing for me is that I take my staff, my clients, the clients that come here. To me, they're all like my children, and I'm gonna make sure that my children are taken care of. So the most rewarding thing for me is when, I have a young man come in, lived on a very, very active street. He got to move away with his family. He got a car, he got a bank account, and now he works for Amazon. And the thing was that I helped him do that, like little baby steps along the way. Why was I able to do that? Because I was able to reach him. He trusts me enough to come to me and want that change. So when I see things like that, I just had another young man come in here a few minutes ago, just telling me that he got a job at Dodger Stadium and he's super excited about it. He gets to react with the public. He gets to come out of the area and go and see a lot of different people. So he's super excited about that. Those are the things that are most rewarding to me, is when they make the small changes that lead to the giant leaps that affect their future and break the generational curses that they're so prevalent in the population that we work with.
That's right. That's a beautiful story. Go Dodgers, right, Tina?
I'm a baseball fan, so it's okay. It's okay.
uh, so as far as, okay, so you talked about being Mama Tina, being Tia Tina. What is in LA there's women that are stepping up more to the forefront of this work and leading, and I think there's always been that leadership role, but I think now there's more space that's being created for that, right? Women being at the forefront of this movement. What have you seen evolve, and what is the particular role that women play in this field, which we know is very male dominated? Can you talk a little bit about the importance of the role of women within this field?
Yes, definitely. So I would say about 10 years ago, there were not women at the table leading these talks, right? This is a male predominant field. Why is it male predominant? Because of the risks that we're taking, the things that we're doing. We're going out into the communities. I always say this, with no gun, no bulletproof vest. These are rough, tough situations, and a lot of times, women were just not thought of in this work because of how dangerous it is. Because if you really think about it, the male part wants to protect the female, right? But in the long run, you got to think about it, that the female can be sometimes the voice of reason. The female can come in and be that compassion. A female is most of the time seen as less threatening in the community at times, right? So I think, the females can be seen as the tias and the grandmas and the mothers and the sisters. So there's a lot that the females can bring to the table. It's much needed in this work so that we can balance out the community, so we can balance out the work that we're doing. Women can do one thing, a man can do another thing, but together they can conquer everything, right? So if you're bringing this strong male dominant in and you bring the female in, you're able to go into the communities and show peace, show unity. And if we're able to work together and achieve great things, hey, what else can we do for the community? It's nothing but positivity. So I think at this point in time, there's a big shift, there's a big change in the way things are seen. And women are valued in this work. I know they are. And, I see it, I see the change. And women-led conversations are, of the future. And people are really recognizing that. And I think together, whether it's male, female, together, we can accomplish great things.
What is it you would say that keeps you motivated to continue doing this work? And how long have you been doing this work?
So I've been doing this work. This is my 9th year doing this work. And what keeps me motivated is the stories I just shared with you. What keeps me motivated is I have 2 intervention workers that were my clients at one time. And now they are actually community intervention workers. What keeps me motivated is when I see them, that they made a whole change in their life, a whole 360. One is married with the child. One is married now, and he's breaking those generational curses. The other one has a child, is in a long-term relationship. He's breaking those generational curses to improve his family, to lift up his family. So those are the things that keep me motivated. When I see the clients that they come here simply because they're hungry, or they want to hang out, and they want to be around a positive atmosphere, they come here. Those are the things that keep me motivated. When I'm out in the community and I'm sitting there and I'm giving away backpacks or food or shoes, and I see those smiles on the faces, like, thank you, this has never been done here before. We appreciate it. We're so thankful. Those are the things that keep me motivated. That's why I want to do my best every single day, every single day. I want to be able to leave a positive legacy for my children and my grandchildren than what my parents left for me. So I want to be that change in my family.
Right on, right on. Well said. Without giving too many details, but can you give us like a scenario that you've had to deal with as an intervention worker. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to paint a picture for those that maybe don't understand when we talk about, we know what gang intervention work is, but for the audience that maybe doesn't know, like, what is there like a scenario that you can kind of talk us through about how intervention went in, mediated a situation, and either saved a life or averted any type of violence?
Yes, definitely. So part of the job that we have is we're on crisis response. So we are on 24/7, and we respond to any gang-related incident that happens in the greater Los Angeles area. One example was, so every morning we get the notifications of what happened throughout the city. I received my notification early one morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. I saw that somebody was shot in downtown Los Angeles. I received a phone call from a member of here in Northeast Los Angeles, and he was really upset, and he had told me that he knew that it was his rivals that shot his homeboy downtown Los Angeles. And that, no, I'm sorry, that he said that he knew it was the rivals who shot his homeboy, and it happened in his neighborhood. So then I don't know why it made me put it together, and I said, no, wait a minute. Was this shooting, this person was this age? And he's like, yes. I'm like, no, that shooting did not happen in your neighborhood. It happened downtown. And they caught the person who did it. And it was just like an argument between them two. And you would not believe, he was so upset. He was like literally in the car with 10 other guys getting ready to open fire on his rival neighborhood, which would have just led to back and forth shooting. I don't know what would have happened. It would have been an all-out war on our streets over here. So as I talked to him, I said, I promise you it wasn't. You better go back and ask a little bit more questions to whoever told you the story. So then he did. He found out that what I was saying was true, and that averted a huge, like, shootout on our streets. So that right there was just, that goes to show he called me to kind of give me a heads up about what was going to happen. I talked him through it, was able to save lives and avert like another gang war.
Wow, that's right on. Part of it is that rumor control, right? Being able to buy some time, be the voice of reason, and also dispel rumors, because the bad information that people react to emotionally can lead to a lot of shootings. And so, luckily, he had you as a resource, somebody who's credible that he could call to check things out with, and you're able to, give him good information that, that dispelled, what his belief or the rumor that he heard. So yeah, that's really, I think, a lot of the essence of what goes on in the city of LA behind the scenes every day. People don't see that. How many lives are saved, or how violence or shootings are averted, just by having credible folks out there who are trusted that could communicate the right information.
Right, and being able to pick up that phone call at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Being able to have access to be able to, So the thing was, it was just great. He called me. We had a conversation, and just so that's where my my license to operate comes in. I'm like, if I wasn't credible, if I wasn't doing what I said I was going to do, he wouldn't even have called me. It would have just happened, and then I would have tried to pick up the pieces afterwards, and that would have been even worse. So.
Right. That's right. Why? So, I mean, it's for us, it's obvious as to why, but why is intervention needed in our communities?
We are needed because our community trusts us. We're needed because we calm tensions. We're needed because we do rumor control. We're needed because we are credible messengers. We are here to do community-based organizing, which helps the community become stronger on their own without having to bring in the stronghold of law enforcement. We're coming in and we're calming our own tensions. We're coming in and we're creating peaceful solutions. If somebody has a problem with somebody else, let's talk it through. Let's bring them to the table. Let's have a conversation. before lives are lost. So that's why we're needed, because we are out there, we're pounding the streets, we're walking around, we're feeling the tension of the community, we're feeling the temperature of the community. And since we are credible messengers, it's up to us to make those changes. It's so needed. This work 10, 15 years ago was not seen as a profession. But if President Biden can acknowledge us, peacekeepers, violence interrupters, if the mayor, the governor, everybody can acknowledge us as doing peacekeeping work, intervention work, violence intervention work, violence interrupters, then it's time. It's time for us to be recognized as the peacekeepers of our community.
Well said, as always. So I want you to repeat and then finish the sentence for me, if you can. We need to fund peacemakers because.
We need to fund peacekeepers because we need to have a living wage. We are risking our life every day, day in, day out. We're on call 24/7. We are the credible messengers of the community. We are risking our lives to provide a safer place for all. We need to be able to sustain, to be able to live, and be able to just support our own families who we're torn from every day, providing safer communities for all. It's not a lot to ask that we can survive ourselves.
Thank you, Tina. And so thank you for speaking with us today. Thank you for being a true peacemaker out there in the communities and being a leader in our communities that need it the most. So thank you for your work and thank you for the work you do to advocate for those dollars, but also to make sure that services are being delivered to those who need them most. So we appreciate you, appreciate your time.
Thank you. And thank you, PI, for helping us to get on this level so that we're able to advocate for everybody. Thank you.
Absolutely.